So as many of you know, today's presentation will be given by the great and wonderful Bobby Fossen. And Bobby knows everything there is to know about Flexi. He's been using it, selling it, teaching it for years. And so he's going to go ahead and show you how you can eliminate proofing errors using the Flexi Artwork Approval tool. And so he will give that presentation for about 20 minutes or so, and then we will open it up for a question and answer session. So if you do have any questions either about the Artwork Approval tool or just any general questions about Flexi, that will be your chance. Go ahead and type them in the chat window there, and then Bobby will be able to go through those and answer them for you. And with that, we'll turn it over to Bobby.
Well, thank you for everybody taking the time out of your business day to attend. As always, it's not always, not easy to get away during the day sometimes, but again, I do appreciate your all's time. I do see that a few of you are commenting that you can't. You're having some delays possibly. That could be internet. That could be a number of different things. So what we'll do is go ahead and we'll get started. You should actually have on the screen our new purple identity on here. So essentially what we're going to be going through today is how to help eliminate proofing errors using our artwork approval tool. The whole goal behind this is for you to create your artwork based on the customer specs, submit them to that customer, and allow them through email to actually communicate with you back and forth. Everybody likes email anymore. It does make things a little bit more efficient. It will also give you a history of everything that is going on. So your communication errors are a lot less likely if they're actually typed up or if you actually need to go back on them. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just kind of give you a rundown of the artwork approval tool. So essentially with the artwork approval tool, you're going to get jobs approved faster, spend less time on the phone and composing emails back and forth. It is extremely easy to use, and it does actually track projects and revisions of each one of those projects throughout the whole process. So as we go through and give you the demonstration, you'll actually see how that works. We're always trying to improve on our software. So at any point in time, if you have suggestions, would be more than welcome to answer those at the end on the Q&A sessions. You can also email me directly as well. So a couple of things that you're going to need in order to actually work with or use the artwork approval tool is, for one, you need you need Flexi 12. This includes Flexi Sign and Print or any of those, Flexi Designer, as well as the subscriptions, but it's not available in the non-OEM versions of the software. It's available in the non-OEM. So if you have an HP edition or you have something along that lines, it won't be available there. You're also going to need a reliable internet connection. Some of the files that you are going to be uploading might be somewhat large, so you want to actually take that into consideration as well. And you're also going to need access to your SAI Cloud account. That is something that is set up, or that you set up using your email address as well as a password when you register your software. So what we're going to do is we'll go through and actually show you the actual basic workflow of how this is going to work. So again, you're going to actually create your design based on your customer specs. Then at that point within the Flexi software, you're going to actually upload this file to the artwork approval tool. You're going to be asked to fill out specific customer information from email to job number, job description, or anything or any additional information that you want to add into it. And then you're going to send that through the Flexi software. So we'd be able to go through and show that. At that point in time, your customer is going to receive an email, and then at that point they can actually comment back to you. They can make revisions. They can you can make revisions. You can resend the revised edition, and then actually eventually get them to approve the job itself. It will also allow you to see all of the jobs that you have listed or that you actually sent out for approval, and show you the status of each one of those as well. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and kind of go through the software itself and bring this up to where you can actually start working within the software. So here I've actually just created a small monument sign. I went ahead, took the time to put in specific colors. I did put in the dimension labels. These were not automatic dimension labels. I did go through and actually use the standard dimension tool to actually create my own. So essentially what we need to do is, if we're wanting to send this job out for the customer for them to actually approve, there's a couple of things that I would recommend that you look at in order to set up first. Okay. So first and foremost, within your software, if you would click on the cloud window, you can click on your artwork approval tab, and this is where it's going to ask you to log into your SAI Cloud account. And once you log into this, it's going to show you all of the jobs that are currently in the system, either awaiting customer feedback, completed jobs, as well as feedback that has been received from customers that's now asking for your reply and your confirmation as well. Now, one thing that you want to check into is, I'd like you to click on the account settings tab, and notice here on the right hand side, you're going to have all of your job approval settings. Okay. Now, these are, basic information. So your name, your email address, you can put a CC in there as well. So if you want to send it to yourself, as well as your artwork team or your accounting team or something along that, that's perfectly fine here. Now, we've actually limited this a little bit in order to actually help prevent spam, as well as to protect your account as well as your end user's email account from any kind of viruses or anything along that line. So everything within the email body here is fully editable, but it is only going to be text data. It will automatically find links, but you are not going to be able to actually edit this, such as HTML or change code, bold, or anything like that yet. So it may be something that we're looking into in the future, but right now this is just a standard text document or text field. Okay. The link placeholder never changes. That is something that we control, and that's something that's done through the software. And then your email signature. I always recommend, this is the place that you want to put custom information, your phone number, everything else, but also make sure that you say thank you. If you want to put any kind of copyright information or anything like that, you might want to put that in here. So we'll go ahead and click on save, and then from there we're going to bring up the software back to our original design. So at this point, we're ready to send this file over to my customer. So again, keep in mind, all of this was designed in Flexi. These are vector images that I actually grabbed from the Sign Design Elements, which is here as well. But if this is ready to go, we're going to go up to the File menu, and you're going to go down and choose Send to Approval Tool. So from here, you're prompted to either create a new job, add an existing job, or click on Selection Only if something is selected. So in this case, we're going to create a new job. So we'll hit OK, and this is where we fill out all of our customer information. So approval job name, I would recommend that you actually title that something related to the actual job itself. It doesn't have to be the actual file name, essentially, at that point. So we'll just call this the Flexi Monument Sign. I put in my name as my customer name. I've got a Gmail account here. It does ask you to confirm this email address to make sure that we don't have any problems. I'm not worried about comments right now. And then we've actually got information about the actual description or the art itself. Now, one thing to keep in mind also is this artwork width and height. This is the overall width of the job itself. So that covers from the edge of the dimension label all the way to the other side of the dimension label. So this may not necessarily be relevant in this case, but that's also one reason I actually put in the dimension labels, so the customer can actually see the actual sign itself, but also get something a little bit more professional, where you have the bushes, landscaping, and things like that. So you have an order number, which you can add in later if you want to, but project code, I would recommend somehow, if you have some sort of estimates or anything like that, put the estimate number in here, or something that you can actually refer back to. So once we actually have this here, we're going to hit submit, and it's going to process. It's going to take just a second. My upload speed's a little bit slow today, but it should go through, go right on through, and it's going to bring back and give us a confirmation on this. So your customer should actually receive an email here in just a minute. So we'll keep resend or refresh here. All right, so now this is the application showing that that artwork approval submission has succeeded. So I should be able to refresh here, and here is my job. This is your customer's email. Keep that in mind, okay? So your customer would receive this, which then allows them to basically go through, and you've got My Imaginary Sign Shop has prepared artwork for you to review. gives you some details. This is the information that was actually put in through your SAI Cloud account. Your customer is going to be able to click on this link in order to actually open their access to this file. All right, so keep in mind, this is really, really small. They cannot really click on this, okay? To actually steal it, as in to grab it, right click and save or anything. It's going to be extremely low res. But you do have the option for the customer to show full size. So they would be able to zoom in or look around and actually be able to see full size what these things are. But from here, let's say, for example, this customer needed to change the address. Let's say I typed it in correctly. Again, miscommunication, which is what we're trying to avoid. So what I'm going to do is, as your customer, I'm basically going to read here, click and drag to annotate, which basically in the directions means click and drag around what you want to change. When I let go, it allows me to add a comment. So we can have it set to change to 5197 and hit save. If they want to make any other changes, for example, let's say the height or the width of this sign itself, please update to 12 feet. Okay, so now we actually have a couple of comments on this. Once your customer is basically finished here, they're going to click on send comments. At that point in time, that information is now sent over to you as the actual sign shop for you to actually view. So I'm going to close this window, which is what your customer would do. I'm back in my customer's email. So I've got a different browser just for this sake here. Now you should automatically receive an email basically saying that your approval's ready or that your customer has received, or you've received comments or something along that lines. So here you can actually see new job approvals ready for your review. So you would open it and go from there. Or you're going to go into your cloud account and look at approval jobs. So we should now see Flexi's monument sign listed here. The feedback has been received from the customer, and we've only had one revision at this time. So I can click this link to open that file and actually show the actual comments that this customer has actually gone through. So you can see here, change address to 5197, update to 12 feet wide. So what we're going to do is just change the address real quick. So from here, you're basically going to go right back into your Flexi software. I'm going to click and drag my text tool here to highlight over top of this, change that to the 7. It will automatically mask for the background that I had on it. We're going to go back. First and foremost, obviously, we want to save the job. Okay. But from there, you're going to also go to the File menu, Send Artwork Approval. But here, we're going to add to an existing job. We're not going to create a whole new job on this. So when I click on Existing Job and hit OK, it pulls a list of all of those jobs in that, in my account. So I can select this one and hit Select, and it's basically now going to upload again and send another email to your customer that a change has been made. So once that is actually finished, we'll open up the customer's email. And again, we should see a prompt here in just a second. But we'll go look in here. And once it actually is ready, it'll come back through and it will show that there is another email ready for them to go. So let's see where we're at. We're almost done there. All right, so the artwork has now been submitted and uploaded. And again, keep in mind that could be file size, could be a number of different reasons for the slight delay. So your customer sees this, they're going to be required to click on this link again in order to actually see the revision that you made. So now you can see I've made the change 5197. But you'll also notice at the bottom there are revisions. So this was the original, this is the current one, or revision 2. At any point in time, you can go back and actually pull up each one of those, so you can see what's changed, or your customer can see that actually. So if this is actually finished and your customer approves it, they're going to click on Approve essentially at this point, and from there, we'll close this out. You should now have, as you see here, customer has approved artwork. You have a link in order to bring it up in your SAI Cloud account. Or I can simply bring up my cloud account, go back to approval jobs, and you'll notice that, hey, that job has now been approved. So I could then at that point click on here And if you're actually going to give access to somebody that has a Flexi Designer or to maybe a different station, they can actually click to download that file and then get it ready for production at that point. So another thing within the job description and so forth, you have options for an order number. I can click to edit this. The job is now approved. So we can actually put in an approved order number. Check that. That's now saved with that information, and then we're finished. So then it's a matter of opening up your sign, processing the job, and then at the end of the day, once everything is finished at that time, you're going to go right back into your approval tool, and you can actually mark this job as complete. Once that is done, you see that, hey, that job is finished. But while you're in here, I still have not received any feedback from this first one. I have received feedback from the Gates logo job, so maybe I need to click on it, look at it, make a revision, see what changes. Would they want to change it from black to green? Make that change, upload the artwork, and send it from there. So it allows you to kind of keep track, or your shop to keep track of the jobs that you've sent out that are waiting for approval. And again, it's very quick. It's easy to use, and on top of that, it doesn't require a tremendous amount of phone time in order for this to go back and forth. Your customer can almost get this all through their email, pull this up, make changes, and send it back to you. So the artwork approval tool itself, very, very simple to work with. It's a very vital tool to your sign shop, and it will, again, it's going to save a tremendous amount of time back and forth, and hopefully reduce some of the errors that you might run into on a regular basis, such as, they said instead of Pantone 226C, it was supposed to be 228C. Well, you need to make that change here if they actually do append the change in the artwork approval tool. So with that, there is still an old school way of doing this as well. You can always take this job and take it back in. I think I did another webinar on this previously, but you can always go back to your templates. You can apply a template, select one of these, and then bring it into here, which this is a custom template that I made. You can export this as a PDF or JPEG and email it or something like that as well. The advantage, again, that you have is, through the artwork approval tool, is you have the ability to go back into your list and manage all of those jobs as you go through. And once a job is complete and paid for, you can delete that out of the queue from there as well. All right, so that pretty much is artwork approval in a nutshell. The most important part of it, I think, is going into your SAI Cloud account, checking your account settings, customize this a little bit to actually, make it a little bit more towards your shop. But just keep in mind, no quotations, no single quotes, no HTML, nothing else can be added into this. It is pretty much still strictly text. All right. So with that, I'll go ahead and open this back up to questions and see if anybody might have a few things that we can help out.
All right. Yeah, so if you have any questions about the artwork approval tool there, or just about Flexi in general, go ahead and type them in. Looks like we've already got one from Jason. He said, can jobs be sent at full size, or do they need to be scaled down first?
Good question. As you see on the screen here, this one is actually full size. So if I select this object, it is 10 foot wide. So you should be able to upload that as full scale. The only, change I would make to that is if you're doing a vehicle wrap or something like that, sometimes that upload speed, when you go into the file, you go into send artwork approval and so forth, you'll see a processing down here. The larger the file, the longer it's going to take to upload that or generate the thumbnail for them to actually see. So I would be very cautious with that. If it's all vector based, sure, no problem whatsoever. If you've got a tremendous amount of masks or bitmap images within the file, I would scale it down just a little bit. But that's also why I put dimension labels on it, because you can change these. So if this was supposed to be 20 feet, I could very easily go in here, change this to 20 feet. Now, that does not change the size of my job. That is only changing what's displayed here, okay? So you can always scale those for your customer, send those up in order to help save some time and some processing speed.
Okay, thank you, Bobby.
All right. Let's see if we've got any more that may be coming in. Like I said, this is a pretty simple tool. You need to play with it a couple times in order to kind of get the hang of it. I would recommend, sending up or setting up a temporary email address so you can actually see what the customer is getting, as well as what feedback you're getting, and in order to kind of perfect that communication a little bit better. And we're hoping to have some more improvements on this over the next next few months. So keep an eye out, and if there's anything that we can help with, you're welcome to give us a call. You're welcome to contact us. From there, you're actually going to be able to contact me directly. My email address is right down here at the bottom. I'm always open to listen or to hear from everybody, as well as get suggestions on what new items or features you might like to see within the software. Good. Connie, I'm glad you're going to try it. Hopefully it helps out. Same thing with you, Gwen. And like I said, if there's anything we can do to help, we're here to help out.
Okay, thank you so much, Bobby. If anyone else has any questions, anything else that they've just been wondering about Flexi, we can go ahead and type those in. Otherwise, I think we'll close it up for today.
Good. Looks like everybody, we're getting mostly thank yous on the chat, so it looks like everybody is following through, as in it's a very simple tool to use, and it sure sounds like, based on what comments we're getting, it's going to be used quite a bit.
Okay, well, we want to thank everyone for attending the webinar today, and we will see you folks next month.
Thanks again.